Hey, a pleasant good afternoon, everybody. This is Sports Fanatic News. I am Joe Boric, and yes, I do not really use this platform much anymore, especially just starting a podcast with my one friend. It is called True Philadelphian Sportscast, so check that out, please, as well as always next year podcast that we work and contribute for as well. What I made this video for was on the comments that, of course, the controversy started over the comments that Daryl Morey made in favor of freedom and pro-democracy in China, which is not a bad statement to make. It was more just the timing of the statement that was off, and I agree with LeBron James on that. When you're in a business, if you're going to visit somewhere, you probably shouldn't insult that country before you go to visit. Even if you're doing it in an activist, rightful way, you should wait until after that time has come. That was stupid on his part, and there's no other way that he can spin that. But what he said wasn't wrong. It was just wrong timing. He wasn't, what I don't agree with LeBron on is I don't think he was misinformed, and I don't think he had misinformation. That I think LeBron's wrong on, and I love LeBron, and I've always loved LeBron, but that I don't think LeBron really knows what he's talking about when it comes to Daryl Morey being misinformed, especially because he said something that was actually right, and then LeBron said stuff that was right as well in favor of freedom, but then somewhat contradicted himself and said he wasn't going to speak, which is what people think's contradictory, because normally he speaks on stuff in America about activist issues, be it immigration, guns, anything when he went at Trump. So he's always around. But the bottom line is when you're expanding internationally as a business, you do got to pick your fights. And no matter if the NBA thinks he is or not, and I'm pretty sure they do, LeBron's the spokesperson of your league, whether you like it or not, and I think they should like it because this dude is straight to the point. This dude is about his morals. This dude knows what he's saying, and he is informed, and he really pays attention to this stuff. So it is important, and it's all root issues to him. It's just when you're expanding internationally, you got to pick your battles because it's not good to fight somebody across seas. And that's why LeBron backing off wasn't bad. People think it's bad, but it wasn't bad because here's an analogy for you. If you're making billions of dollars in China, right, do you think it's a good idea for you to overstep and insult China, even if you think that's the moral right thing to do? If you work for somebody and you're making that much money there, don't you think there's going to be bad repercussions against you if you cost them that much money? Hell yes. So, for LeBron James to not want to talk, it's actually really what most people would do. It's not selling out, it's just being a realist and saying, well, we're trying to expand into this market, so I shouldn't insult this market too much as we're trying to expand into it. Because guess what happens? Once you're in a market, sometimes you can affect it more. When you're still in the process of really vitalizing that market for the NBA, even though it's huge because of Yao Ming and other people, but I mean with getting them invested in American players other than Kobe and LeBron and the big of the big, you need to be able to sometimes just step back and process things. And like Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith, and everybody said on First Take, that doesn't mean this story is done. It's not even damn close to being done. Because people are going to have time to process, and if China comes back with some stupid-ass comment, someone's going to say something back. And what Max Kellerman said was spot on. You need to really, well, one, what they said on First Take, you have to pick your battle, but what Max said is spot on is, what you could have said is you don't want to talk about it because of the business, but you can take this the way you want. I stand for freedom. I stand for equality. I stand for all that, and take that as you wish. And if China had a problem with that, then they just have a problem with everybody. So that would be their own problem at that point. And I don't have an issue saying that because I never, ever, ever plan on stepping into that country. So it's a problem that is going to present itself if people talk too much. But it's also a problem for China if you think about it, because they're making a crap ton of money off the NBA. So if they want to keep critiquing stuff, they're just going to end up screwing themselves over in the end too. So if you think about it that way, it really doesn't help either side to keep bickering, because if the deal stops, it hurts the NBA, and if the deal stops, it hurts China, because they're making a boatload of money on it. So, to wrap this up, I think LeBron was right on a lot of his remarks, other than the fact that Daryl Morey was misinformed, because Daryl Morey's also been an activist for most of his time, and has come out and said things in support of things that he thinks are morally root issues to him. And that's what you want in a human being. You want someone to come out and support stuff of what they think is morally root issues to them. So you need to be able to support those things, and you can't not support those things. And even if it means having some issues, and LeBron came out and said stuff. It's not like he didn't come out and say anything and then step back. He talked and then stepped back. So it's also, people are kind of coming at him for talking, when in the hindsight, to make a conclusion, he was forced to talk by the media. So you're very hypocritical in yourself, media, when you force somebody to talk, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, well, I don't agree with what you said. Well, tough crap, because you forced him to talk. So even if you don't agree with what he said, don't trash him. That's kind of the point of what people are getting at. And also people on Twitter that are trashing him, you're just reading stuff on the internet and believing it. And like everyone always says, not everything on the internet is fact. That's obvious, especially in today's age. Not everything remotely close on the internet is fact in today's age compared to before. So you need to take everything with a grain of salt in today's world, and also just think what is central and root to you. And if stuff that's central and root to you is also central and root to Morey and LeBron, then you really agree with them more than you disagree with them, and you probably just enjoy complaining. So you need to be able to center what your root issues are, and if they don't coincide, then just step out of it and don't give a crap. Because what's the point of insulting somebody on Twitter? What does the media gain by insulting somebody on Twitter? What does a citizen gain by insulting somebody on Twitter? Absolutely nothing. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't make anything different. So, or a player insulting a country. So once you get in the market, you can make a bigger change, which we're already in it now, but they're trying to get in it even more, and also get into India and get into other countries. And like they said, if you get into Turkey and India have a bunch of problems too. So you got to let the players come out. You can't put a gag clause in contracts in the NBA. So are you going to have people come out and let them say what they want to say? Because it is a free country. So you can't start honing on their free speech. I don't care what organization you are, and I don't think Adam Silver's going to do that either. Because Adam Silver, I believe him before I ever believe China when it comes to saying they wanted Daryl Morey fired. What has China done recently in terms of politics, government, and now this that makes you believe anything they say? So I would believe Adam Silver and the NBA light years, like I tweeted out earlier, before I ever believed China in any factor of a matter at this point in time. So I think that people just need to back off of LeBron. LeBron's an activist. He's a dude that's putting himself out there when he was really forced to kind of speak by being asked questions that if you don't agree he was forced to speak, then you don't really know how the media works. I'm sorry, because when you keep being approached by somebody to talk, you're either going to tell them to buzz off or you're going to eventually answer the question. So either way, they wouldn't have liked the result. And that's just the sad truth. The media twists everything nowadays and typically doesn't like a result no matter what answer they get from, in some matters nowadays. And I'm not talking about the sports media. I'm more talking about, there's some sports media that came at LeBron opposite of First Take, but I'm more talking about like the news stations that come at him, the people on Twitter, etc., that are just stupid and coming at LeBron James. So I'm not necessarily, it's stupid for them to come at LeBron James. I'm not necessarily calling them stupid. It's just a stupid act to come at LeBron James when all he is exercising his freedom of speech. That is, by the way, all you people do every day. So it's just hypocritical and a terrible take. But it's not that these people are terrible. It's just their take doesn't make a lot of sense when they're doing the same thing day in and day out, exercising their freedom of speech right. So I think LeBron James is in the right in every aspect other than thinking Daryl Morey is misinformed. I just think that was bad timing. Everything's about timing. So most people I know are big on LeBron, so I would assume they have his back, but I definitely have his back in this fight and think, one, he's one of the best basketball players of all time. Two, he's one of the best people of all time. And three, once he retires, he's probably going to be one of the best. Hell, whatever he wants to be, an NBA executive or whatever, he's still going to be involved in basketball because this dude is smart. This dude's an entrepreneur. This dude is one of the brightest guys in the NBA, and he worked his ass off to get there. He didn't do that just by luck. He worked his ass off to get there. So coming at somebody like that just doesn't seem right to me, and I had to release this video. This is Sports Fanatic News. Peace out, everybody.